Hello everyone, that Manga Kid here to do my October 2022 manga haul. Got a lot of good stuff here, so I'm just going to jump right in. I'm going to start off with another Japanese series that I purchased. If you watched, I think it was last month, it might have been the month before, I purchased all of Horomusuko in Japanese off of eBay. That's a series I can't read yet. My level of Japanese is not at that stage. So I was looking for something that I could read or begin to try and read to help aid in my studying. And I decided to purchase Yotsubato. This is a series that obviously is available in English. However, yen press volumes are extremely expensive. And so I have been collecting the volumes here and there of the yen press editions, but they're like $17 Canadian, and this is a series that is pretty beginner friendly in terms of the language level, and so I figured I would buy the Japanese collection of them and kind of use this as a study aid for me. And I started volume one. I think I'm like 17 pages in. I was participating in the Manga Freakathon and trying to read as much manga as possible in October. So while I started volume one, I didn't continue to read it just because it takes obviously a long time for me to read, as Japanese is not my first language and I am very in the kind of beginning stages of studying. So I am pretty impressed with myself with the amount of things that I can read on these pages. But yeah, there is the furigana in these volumes, and so that is very helpful to me as I do not yet know kanji. So yeah, I am looking forward to reading this series over the course of however long it takes, probably a very long time. But I have 15 volumes. Now, I don't think this is technically complete because I think it's technically ongoing. It's been a long time, I think, since there's been a new volume, though. So either way, I bought the 15 volumes that are in existence at the moment. These are awesome. Japanese volumes, if you don't know, they have dust jackets, and in this case of Yotsuba, underneath each dust jacket is a different photo, and sometimes it's like related to the photo that's on the cover, and sometimes it's completely different. And there's a couple volumes in here where under the dust jacket is just ridiculous and hilarious, and I laughed out loud as I was, opening them up and seeing what was underneath the dust jackets. But the art is really stunning and beautiful. These are really gorgeous editions. These are secondhand, but they came in very, very, very good condition. And I got a pretty good deal on them. Yeah, so I'm pretty excited. I'm really happy to have these in Japanese because these editions are so much nicer than the English ones. And I'm happy that this will be a step in the right direction for me in my language learning journey here. So yeah, I think that, in the case of Horomusuko, I bought that because I have given up hope that we'll ever get it completed in English, and I wanted to own the series. In this case, I definitely want to own Yotsuba. I really enjoy the series of what I've read of it so far, and it is a nice, like I said, beginner sort of series to help learn the language. So I'm pretty excited about these, and I will, I guess, try and keep you all posted on how this is going for me. But like I said, currently I'm like 17 pages into volume one, but very, very excited to own these and read them. They look really excellent. So yeah. Next up, I completed actually a few series this month. So I finished off Living Room Matsunaga-san. This is the age gap romance boarding house series that I love. I love boarding house series. I love that this one has a mixture of, like, she's a teenager, but there's a bunch of adults that she's living with. But all of the characters are awesome. I love these characters. I think that they're so charming. They're all gorgeous. And all of them are likable. I really, really, really love this story. And so excited that it's finished. I think 11 volumes is a perfect perfect spot for this series, and I'll definitely be doing a full series review of Living Room Matsunaga-san. If you don't mind age gap romances and you like gorgeous people and boarding house kind of situations, this is definitely one to check out. Next up, I also finished off Levius EST. This is volumes 8, 9, and 10. This is a pretty great action kind of not apocalyptic, like it's kind of an alternate reality of, it's sort of set in what feels like the past, but also with like technological advancements of the future. This focuses on Levius, who is a mechanical martial arts fighter. His body is altered mechanically, and he fights in a kind of a Colosseum style ring, obviously for entertainment purposes. And the art, this is, before anybody panics that it's been flipped, in Japan this was actually published in the left to right format, so it wasn't flipped by Viz in any way. It was actually published this way. I'm trying to find some really, it's like really gritty, intense artwork, and I absolutely love it. This is a very entertaining series. I would say the overarching plot, not the best, but for me, this, like the artwork and the action sequences, and Levius as a character, I really enjoy him, and there's a couple other characters I quite like. They really carry the story. So yeah, super stoked that that's finally done, and I quite enjoyed my read of Levius. Next up, finally I can call this completed, The Po Clan, Moto Hagio. We finally received the second book from Fantagraphics. Obviously, the pandemic had a huge impact on the publishing industry, and for these smaller publishers like Fantagraphics, trying to get books out at all, let alone something that's, not every single person is collecting the Po Clan. Let's just be honest. They should. It's amazing, but not everybody is. And so I'm just happy that we finally have this, even though it took a couple years to get released. But yeah, this is about some vampire youth. It's got some really gorgeous color pages. It's really, dramatic, intense, flowery artwork, of course. Moto Hagio, really stunning release, really beautiful story. I really enjoyed it, and I'm so glad to finally have the rest of that series. Next up, some continued stuff. I've got Gigant Volume 7. This continues to be Hiroya Oku ridiculousness. Lots of alien invasion, boobs, and action. Lots of fun. Continued on that theme, we got Gantz Volume 10, or Omnibus 10. We're nearing the end of this release. Can't remember. This is like contains up to volume 30 at this point. I'm really enjoying Gantz, and actually the final volume in this particular omnibus really, really captivated me, and I cannot wait for the next one, which I think unfortunately doesn't come out till the new year. So that's unfortunate, but very much sucked into that story, and really looking forward to when I get the next one. So then I got volumes 18, 19, and 20 of Bungo Stray Dogs. The arc that this one is in also is captivating me at this point, even though I thought I was kind of falling off of the story. This one is really a lot of fun. I've never read the light novels, but the manga is a lot of fun. The anime was a lot of fun. We have all of our characters are based off of literary, like historic literary figures, and so from all around the world. And so, yeah, it's a lot of fun because their like supernatural powers are all kind of related to their the author that they're based on, their kind of most prolific works, or their most prolific like quirks of their personality that we kind of know about through history. So it's a lot of fun, and I'm glad that the story is picking up in a way that I'm enjoying, rather than just kind of slogging through an arc I'm not super enjoying, because the first part of this arc I wasn't super thrilled about, but now it's at a point where I'm really having a good time with it. So that's always good. Next up, I got volumes 13, 14, and 15 of Bakemonogatari, the manga version. The art continues to be absolutely stunning and incredible. Like, there's a lot of pages in these that I just fully can't take my eyes off of. I just like pause and stare at them for a while because it's just so incredible. I love this series. I think, or I know for sure, it is definitely not for everybody. It's got some content that is not super palatable to a lot of people, and that's completely understandable. I fully do not begrudge people for not being interested, but like, this artwork is just like really captivating, and I'm super stoked that we're getting this release. I'm enjoying this. I've watched the anime. I've been reading the light novels, and I'm also consuming the manga. So it's a very nostalgic story for me, and it feels like it's more of like a comfort read. I don't know. I just really enjoy these characters, and I really enjoy the world they're in, and it's a lot of fun. And the spines look really great together. Where's the one with the, oh, this one with the cats, the back of it with the little cats, I think is so cute. But yeah, this is a fun one, but definitely not for everybody. Then I got more volumes, thankfully, of Phantom Tales of the Night. This is a creepy sort of like careful what you wish for sort of story. I really love this type of story where you, like, characters are kind of taken advantage of or turned around by some kind of mystical being. I don't really like fantasy stories all that much, but this sort of story where somebody is like, I'll grant your wish, or I'll do something for you, but you need to do me something in return. And it's never quite what you expected. Not to mention, this art is just absolutely phenomenal. It's just like, this cover. What am I looking at? It's stunning. Yeah, this is a really incredible series. Again, not for everybody. It is quite gruesome. It is quite gory and graphic and creepy and you know, not pleasant. But I really love it, and I'm very happy that these are seeming to be released relatively quickly. I'm obviously missing a few volumes. I think there's like at least 9 of them that are out at this point. But yeah, I'm picking them up as I can and really enjoying them. So next up, I got volume 2 of Play It Cool Guys. This is a fun, full color story about these pretty boys who, boys and men who are dorky and clumsy, and they do little goofs and faux pas, and they just kind of try to play it off as like, I meant to do that. And it's really cute and funny, and not something that's like, it's not the best thing in the world, but it's short and sweet and fun to read, and I like the art. I enjoyed volume 1, so I figured I'd pick up volume 2. There's definitely more out at the moment, and I don't know how long this is, but I think it's quite a fun little afternoon quick read, you know. Then I got volumes 3 and 4 of Asadora. I've not actually read these yet, which is a shame. I really enjoyed the first 2 volumes, but I just got these and I haven't had a chance to pick them up yet. It's another Naoki Urasawa title. This is about a girl who is a pilot. There's obviously some other stuff going on in this story, as Naoki Urasawa likes to write very intricate kind of weaving characters and circumstances and timelines and whatever. So I'm looking forward to see how wacky this one gets. I really like the simplicity of these. The colors pop, and the back covers all looking like this with just the different colors, I think is really stunning. The spines look great. And it's just a clean, very clean release by Viz. So quite enjoying that one. Speaking of Viz, we got Dead Dead Demons, Destruction, Volume 11 by Inio Asano. Continues to be great. I think Volume 12 is the last one. I could be wrong, but this series is coming to a head. Really, really, really enjoying it. This is one I've been collecting since the beginning of it. Every time a volume comes out, I'm like super stoked to read it. This is a alien invasion, but also slice of life with these high school girls just kind of existing in this alien invaded environment. But it's become more action-packed as the series kind of goes on, and very, very, very enjoyable. I'm not going to open it just because we're at a point where the climax is happening and I don't really want to spoil it for you. So next up, I haven't read this one yet, but I got volume 3 of Fist of the North Star. I'm really enjoying this one, of the 2 volumes at least that I've read of it. It's, action, older style, macho ridiculousness. I like these releases. They don't have a dust jacket, which is nice. There's just a nice hardcover with some, embossed situations. So yeah, I think there's gonna be like 18 of these, which is a lot. But I'm just kind of slowly picking them up and enjoying them as I get them. Then I got Orochi by Kazuo Umez. This is volume 2, again by Viz. This is a really great horror series about this girl who, she's kind of like a supernatural being almost, and she kind of exists each story. There's 3 stories contained in this one. She kind of involves herself with a particular family or individual, and you kind of like creepy circumstances are happening around them, and she happens to always be either a player in the scenario or an observer, and we're just kind of watching bizarre circumstances happen to people, and it's quite it's quite entertaining. I really, really enjoy it. I'm glad we're getting more Kazuo Umez works. Next up, I've got some new titles. Volume 1 of Tales of the Kingdom by Asumiko Nakamura. This is a Yen Press release, and it is really great. There's a lot of color pages in here. There's a lot of themes that I'm sure a lot of people are not thrilled about. But honestly, I will pick up anything by Asumiko Nakamura, and I really enjoy her art style. I really enjoy her storytelling and her like whimsy and dark kind of twisted undertones of a lot of her works. And so, yeah, this is a very entertaining read so far. I'm super stoked that we're getting it. I had never heard of this one before, and I am excited for more of it. I can't remember if Volume 2 is out yet or not, but either way, I don't have it if it is out, but I'm looking forward to more of that. Next up, I got the first 2 omnibuses of Life Lessons with Uromichi Onisan. This is one I've wanted forever. It was out of stock forever. I've wanted this since before it started releasing, so I'm very happy I got my hands on these 2 volumes so far. This is about a man in his early 30s, and he works at a children's TV show, and he's miserable and depressed and has no life prospects, and he just it's short chapters of him just interacting with the children on this TV show and just being super blunt and honest about adulthood with these children, and it's hilarious. And he's got obviously coworkers and colleagues and whatnot who are also dejected and miserable in different ways. It's so funny. It is exactly the type of humor that's right up my alley, and I love the artwork, and I found it so funny. I've read this first one so far, which contains the first 2 volumes, and I haven't read this one yet because I just got it, but I'm very excited to read it. I was shocked because I thought it wasn't going to be something I could binge, but I did actually read this all in one sitting, this first omnibus. But I can definitely see how this could get repetitive, and I can see, myself needing to kind of pace myself while reading it, which is fine and fair. But this is definitely something I will continue to collect, and I will definitely just kind of read bits and pieces of it here and there while when I need to kind of blow off some steam and just revel in the ridiculousness and mundaneness of adulthood. So yeah. Next up, I got the first deluxe edition of Killing Stalking. This is a webcomic, which I've read most of. I didn't read all of it. I read more than half of it in the past, but I don't like reading stuff digitally. I just don't like doing it. So I stopped reading it, not because I wasn't still interested, but because I got tired of staring at my computer screen. So very stoked that we're getting it physically, because now I can actually collect them. I believe there will be 4 of these. They're full color. It is a very dark and twisted series about a stalker and a serial killer. It's not for the faint of heart by any means. It is technically a boys' love series, but obviously containing a lot of manipulation and abuse and all that kind of stuff. So if you are at all triggered by things, I would just skip this. Like you don't need to upset yourself by reading this. It's very graphic. It's very horrible, but definitely entertaining. And if you like dark, twisted things, then you're probably going to like this. So it's a very heavy volume. This is a 7 Seas release. Very, very heavy because it's full color. Next up, I've not yet read this, but I got Sensei's Pious Lie by Akane Torikai. This is a Kodansha release. This is an omnibus volume, I think. I don't know if it's like a 2-in-1 or something, but I've not read this yet. This is another very dark one. My understanding of this is that this woman is a teacher and she was raped by, I think, some colleagues or students or something. And this kind of dives into the psyche and mental health of this person who now has to go to work every day and be around the people who assaulted her and raped her. So, yeah, very, very dark topic. Definitely right up my alley in terms of the type of themes and things that I enjoy reading, like social commentary of and different, like, kind of diving really honestly into those types of topics. So I'm looking forward to this one. I'm hoping that it's going to be good. And I only have this particular volume, so I'm looking forward to getting more of it when I have the chance. Next up, another one I'm so excited for. This is Shonen Note, Boy Soprano by Yuki Kamatani. Ray from Whimsical Pictures has been speaking about this one for such a long time. And I'm so excited that we got this in English. Yuki Kamatani did Our Dreams at Dusk, which is one of my favorite queer stories. And this one is about a young boy who is in the choir, and I believe his voice is changing, and he's having some struggles with his kind of existence as a singer as he's going through puberty and whatnot. I'm very excited to read this. Beautiful cover and artwork as usual from Yuki Kamatani. So I'm pretty excited about this. I haven't actually read this one yet because I just want to be in a proper mood to do it. I don't want to just read through it for the sake of it. Next up, I got Volume 1 of Lost Lad London by Shima Shinya. I was in chapters looking at the news, like whatever was there, and I had never actually heard of this one. And I took a picture of it in the store so that I could come home and do some more research on it. I believe it's a 3-volume series completed. It's got this, this cover is stunning. And then the artwork is so like dynamic and just angular, and I love it. So I haven't read this yet, but I believe it's a mystery set in London, like a mystery police detective sort of thing. I'm very, very excited about this. But yeah, I had never heard of it. And now I have seen a few people since I saw it in the store. I've seen a few people picking it up in their halls and whatnot. But I'm excited to read it. I really love this artwork. And the cover is just so compelling to me. I love this kind of clean, modern look. So super, super excited about that. Next up, I got Volume 1 of the classic collection of Captain Harlock. This has been out of print or out of stock or whatever for a long time. I really loved Queen Emeraldus by Leiji Matsumoto. I've not yet read Space Battleship Yamato, but I have it. But I've really wanted to read Captain Harlock, and only the 2 and 3 of the omnibuses were available, and I didn't buy them because I thought, you know what, if volume 1 never comes back, like I'm not going to read just volumes 2 and 3. So when this came back in stock, I snatched it up immediately. I still have to get the other 2, so hopefully I can get those. I think they're still in stock, but I just, hopefully I don't shoot myself in the foot here and I've grabbed that one and can't get my hands on the other 2. But anyway, I'm excited to read it. I love Leiji Matsumoto. So next up, this is another one that I found at Chapters that I had never heard of, is Sazan and Comet Girl by Yuriko Akase. This is released by Seven Seas. It's very heavy, and it is in full color. It's got a very classic style, and I honestly, I thought it was like a more retro series. It turns out I think it was written in like 2018 or 2011 or something like that. It's a relatively newer series, which was surprising to me, but it's got that kind of retro artwork, which I really like, and the color is stunning. So yeah, it's really beautiful. I haven't read it yet, but it's basically, I think, my understanding, this guy, he's obviously lives in space, and this girl on this like Vespa thing drives by, and he's kind of infatuated with her, and so he's traveling the universe trying to find her. Seems to be some action moments in the back, or in the later half, so I'm assuming there's some enemies or whatever that he's running into. But yeah, super stoked for this one and excited to see what it's all about. Next, I got No Longer Human, Complete Edition. This is the Usumaru Furuya version of Osamu Dazai's No Longer Human, which I own the novel. I quite like it. I also own the Junji Ito version, but I originally did actually read this Usumaru Furuya version from my library. Obviously, the single editions are very out of print, and so I wasn't able to own it. So when they announced the complete edition, I was quite excited. It's just a standard. It's like an oversized standard soft cover. Like, it's nothing really special. But I really love Usumaru Furuya, one of my favorite creators, and I really like No Longer Human by Osamu Dazai. So I prefer this version to the Junji Ito version, personally. So I'm very, very excited to have this, and I can't wait to reread it because it's been a few years now. Next up, another one I actually saw at Chapters for the first time, and I cannot believe that I had never heard of this, because this seems like it is exactly the type of series that I am going to really love, and that's Sigotera. I'm going to call it that. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but this is a 3 omnibus volume. I think it's just 2 in 1, so it's like 6 volumes. This is a coming-of-age story about this boy who I think meets this biker chick who's a little older than him. I think he gets involved in some gang activity or something. I'm not really sure, but it's a coming-of-age story about bullying and love and romance and friendship and whatever. Seems right up my alley, and I cannot imagine how I'd never heard of this before. So yeah, it was same day I found Lost Lad London at Chapters. I saw this and went, wow, how did 3 whole omnibuses of this get released and I've never heard of it? But yeah, I'm pretty excited. I think that this will be something that I quite enjoy. I just haven't started it yet. But yeah, the art looks pretty good, and the story seems like it's something I will really, really like. So I'm very, very excited to read this. Next up, one I've wanted for quite a while is The Girl Without a Face. This is by Teron Taron. It's a Yen Press release, and this was everything I hoped it would be. It's so cute. It's about this human boy who's dating this girl who's kind of like a yokai sort of situation. She has no face. And it's really cute little individual stories about the 2 of them living together. Despite the fact that they look like teenagers, they're not. They're young adults, which is also nice. And they're just so cute. They're so cute. It's really adorable. I really, really loved every second of this. Next up, I got To Strip the Flesh by Oto Toda. This was everything I wanted it to be and more. It's individual little short stories, each about various different things to do with like body image and relationships and love and loss, and it's just really, really, really good. I loved this. I was looking very much forward to this when it was announced that it was getting released in English. So I'm just stoked to have it now, and I really, really enjoyed it for sure. It's one I will probably go back to quite often. And finally, I got Look Back by Tatsuki Fujimono. I've read this already, and I've read it twice because I read it when I bought it, but I also read it on the Shonen Jump app when it was originally released. I personally think that Tatsuki Fujimono is very, very, very good at writing slice of life stories. This one is not a fantasy story. It has no fantasy elements to it. It is really beautiful. It's very poignant, and it's really, really incredible. I think that this is really, really accessible of a read. It's about these two young manga creators. Starts off as children and kind of follows them up through their kind of career as young creators. And yeah, it's talks about creating an art and different people's processes and existences within this industry and as creative individuals. And it's really beautiful. This is one I will reread quite often. It's very short. It's very quick. It's really excellent. And it's got his, artwork that's pretty stunning. And yeah, so that's everything that I bought in October, which is a lot. It's a lot of things. I have no shelf space, and so all these books are on my floor. And you would think that would stop me from buying more things, but it hasn't. I have more stuff coming in the mail for November. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you saw something interesting. Anything that I've completed already or already started, I'll do a first impressions or a full review video for each of these series. So keep an eye out for those. But yeah, thank you for watching.